Hello and welcome to the FatBoss guide to the Hellfire Assaullt on Mythic.
Yeah, and this fight is very, very similar to its heroic counterpart. It's still all about controlling and killing off the adds, destroying the siege vehicles so they don't blow up your cannons, and taking their ammo and throwing it into the cannons. Like, the main big difference is it's pretty much new adds. There's a couple new adds that you need to deal with, and the adds spawn in different places, so you just need to pretty much position your raid differently than you did on the heroic or normal mode.
To kick off right at the start of the fight, you'll still have Martak and you'll still have a normal group of mobs. Do not use Bloodlust, focus her down and cleave down the rest of the mobs. Shortly afterwards you'll get Berserker spawn, just nuke him down, and roughly around the same time you'll also get 2 Felcasters spawn, again, nuke them down and make sure they're interrupted. It's at this point that 2 artilleries will spawn, one on the left hand side of the room and one on the right hand side of the room. And from this point onwards, you just want to split your raid up into 2 groups. Have 1 tank, 2 healers and 7 DPS go on the left, and the other tank, the other 2 healers and all the other DPS go on the right.
And from this point onwards, you just need to make sure that each group has their DPS priority correct. Make sure that you kill off any siege vehicles before anything else, unless there's like Felcasters that are just gone into the terraforms and spamming off their volleys. Of course, kill those off beforehand, but otherwise the DPS priority is the exact same as it was on heroic. Now, when the siege vehicles do die and they drop the ammo boxes, we actually had our healers transport the ammo boxes to the cannon, as there is pretty much no healing to do in this fight.
Now, after dealing with all the adds that you've seen on heroic for roughly a minute and a half, you'll have a crusher and a brand new siege vehicle spawn called a transporter. Now, both of these will spawn almost on top of each other, right in the middle of the room, and this is the best point to use Bloodlust and your legendary ring, and have both groups move towards the middle and cleave them down. Now, the transporter doesn't really do anything but spawn extra adds. If you just leave these transporters up forever, you'll just get more and more adds and eventually you'll be overrun. So you need to kill them very, very quickly. Kill both of them off, and then you'll get the first new mini-boss, which is Grand Corruptor xhul'horac. Now, this guy will create spiral patterns on the ground that deal damage to anyone inside the animation, so make sure you're not. He'll also spam something called Corruption Bolt on your tanks. This just deals moderate magic damage. Just make sure you have something up while this is coming in. And the most annoying thing that he'll do is something called Corruption Soul on a random player. This heals xhul'horac for a large amount, as well as places a healing absorb shield on that particular player and puts them on low health. So healers, you need to make sure you swap to this player and heal them up quickly, just to prevent them from dying from accidental damage.
Now, once he's dead or almost dead, you'll have the last mini-boss called Groot. Now, Groot looks and works the exact same way as a Berserker. He'll apply a stacking tank debuff and he'll do cower to the raid. On top of that, though, he'll also do Shockwave, which is very similar to Martak. Just make sure you avoid it. And he'll also cast Cannonball, where he'll leap to a random player after a long cast and deal damage to them and anyone within the targeting circle. Just make sure that if you are targeted, you do not stand near any other players, just to minimize the amount of damage you're taking. Once Groot is dead, deal with any of the adds that are left over, and it is this point you'll just need to split up the raid again to deal with the new artilleries.
From this point onwards, the fight actually becomes incredibly dull, as you'll get massive gaps of time where you have literally nothing to do but wait for adds to spawn, which depending on your DPS can take up to 10 or even 15 seconds in really extreme cases. So yeah, it does become a little bit easier. So if you get over this like overlap where you have to deal with the crusher, the transporter, and then both of the mini bosses, you should be absolutely fine. Just remain split, make sure you're killing off any siege vehicles before anything else, just like you did on heroic. Make sure that you interrupt the engineers, make sure you interrupt the volleys, and kill off the Felcasters when they do transform. And after around 2 or 3 excruciating minutes where you're not really doing much at all, the main door will finally take enough hits and the encounter will be over.
Yeah, this fight is a lot better on Mythic than it was on heroic, but that doesn't really mean much because it kind of sucked on heroic. That middle bit where you have to kill off all the adds, you got the mini bosses, that's really awesome. But after that point, it does get very, very dull, and you just got to be patient and really look at timers. So timers carry you a lot in this fight. It shows you when the siege vehicles are coming in. You can prepare for all of that kind of stuff, and really, you shouldn't spend too long on this fight before you defeat it.
So thank you very much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy this guide, then please do drop us down a like, and we shall see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.